Okay, so 2 weeks from today is the November general election. Polls are going to be open from 8 in the morning to 8 at night. And expected at the polls that day, poll watchers. Not a new thing, but it's a role that county clerks in Idaho say has way more emphasis in recent years. Poll watchers could also be joined by poll challengers on Election Day. Now, those are different roles with different rules. With any polling location assignment on Election Day, there is room for controversy and, of course, conversation. Like, what if a poll watcher is working to intimidate voters? You've all probably seen what's going on in Arizona right now. But where is that line, and what is the expected behavior and assignment for a poll watcher? Can anyone just show up on Election Day to observe? Here's Joe Paris.
In 2 weeks, Idahoans will hit the polls for the November general election. And voters aren't the only ones gearing up for the polls. Oh no, some candidates are working to recruit poll watchers.
Traditionally, a poll watcher in Idaho has been non-existent until a couple of years ago.
Trent Triple is chief deputy clerk at the Ada County Clerk's office. So Trent, who are these poll watchers?
They work for the candidate or the party, and they report back to them any inconsistencies or anything that may cause alarm for them.
From there, a candidate or party can bring info to election officials to investigate anything a poll watcher thinks may be an issue. But poll watchers need to stay out of the way.
The statutes clearly say that they're not to disrupt the conduct of the election.
Chad Houck is Chief Deputy Secretary of State.
If the behavior in any way is being disruptive to a voter or being intimidating to a voter or making a voter uncomfortable, that voter can just go to any of the election judges in the space, the folks there from the county working that polling location, and just let them know that there's an issue that they have with a particular activity.
People can't just show up on Election Day to be a poll watcher. It's a coordinated position that, again, is authorized by a political party or candidate for office.
They do have to submit that request in writing to the county clerk in advance, detailing what precincts specifically, what individuals specifically. And largely that's because of that administrative component that goes into making those name tags, knowing who those individuals are going to be when they're assigned into those locations. So that they can have all that information and documentation on site at the polling location for Election Day.
Poll watchers don't have special conduct rules that allow them to interact with protected Election Day privacy for voters. They need to stay out of the way of the election process and do what's in their position title: watch.
We have the ability as county clerks and people who are running the elections to ask them to leave if they're disrupting the normal flow of an election. They can ask questions and we'll answer them as time allows, but our job administering the elections is to make sure that people have access to the ballot.
A storyline with poll watchers nationwide is voter intimidation. Some worry that the position will be used to influence behavior at polling locations, and that includes places here in Idaho. A question some ask on the topic: can poll watchers carry a gun on Election Day at polling locations?
The real question is, what is your polling location? Because in many cases, if polling locations are in schools, that school is still a school, and that is one of the places where constitutional carry is restricted under Idaho law. Insofar as, is it illegal to have a weapon at a polling location? No, it's not, either for a poll watcher or a voter, unless there's some other restriction outside of voting that would cause that particular location to be illegal.
In recent years, we've heard the concerns about poll watchers from some in the community, but Triple points out that there's actually a genuine function to the role, an important one.
We will have watchers, and they have the right to be there. They have the right to observe the elections. We want people to have trust in the elections process, and this is part of it. If people don't feel like we're administering the elections properly, then they can't have faith in the people that are getting elected.
So the bottom line here is, if you have a problem or you feel uncomfortable with the conduct of anyone at the poll, the idea is to tell the head judge at the polling site. They will take care of it. Do not go into business for yourself and try to start solving things, getting into arguments at the polls. There's a certain decorum at the polls.
Yeah, what stood out to me was what Mr. Triple said at the beginning of that story, that, well, basically poll watchers were non-existent in Idaho until a couple of years ago. What happened a couple of years ago? That would have been 2020, an election. Yeah. So
a lot happened that year.
A lot happened, and since, obviously. So again, for them to be non-existent up until a couple of years ago, I mean, that says a lot.
And you know, it is a role that is probably pretty boring. I mean, for the most part, you stand there and you observe the behavior inside the polling location. And again, you're limited. You have to stay back from the voters. You can't be looking over, hey, what's going on? Oh, who are they voting for? So it's a pretty limited role. It exists for a reason. You know, if there's ever an issue, the poll watcher, they report it to their party, and then the party handles it through the correct channels. Are all elections perfect all the time? Of course not. So having these watchers, they serve an important function, but it is interesting to see how they'll play out on Election Day.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Thank you very much, Joe.